Mike Pfeiffer, Pfeiffer Hobby Supply, and we're out here in the infamous train room. Today we're going to do a video 39 just for two reasons. I've gotten very little done, but I wanted to tell you all that Robin and I are both feeling better. I still am congested because I have a sinus infection, of course. I've mentioned that. But anyway, we're both feeling better. We're both doing better. She's cooking some Thanksgiving dinner stuff. And I have made it out here a few times in the last week or so to just do a few things. And I'm hoping that I'll remember and cover them all in this video, because I haven't been taking video while I've been doing it. So you and I will be videotaping it for the first time. And above all, because I have the appropriate neck, I want to tell you guys Happy Thanksgiving. Glad to have you guys around. Glad we're feeling better. Hope you all are doing well, and hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. So that being said, let's see what I've been up to. Okay, what I'm going to start with today is just giving you a little of an explanation. I had a train malfunction underneath the layout, underneath this section of the layout, and I was using the, I don't know where, oh, they're over here on the other side of the layout. But anyway, my E8s to push a track cleaning car around underneath. In fact, it was the new track cleaning car. And if you notice on the new track cleaning car, it now has new brown Microtrains trucks on it and some plastic wheels on that particular one. Well, here's what happened. I was pushing the car underneath, and it got right about down under right in here, or maybe back here a little bit, and I heard a think, ding, 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 clunk, 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 boom! And I looked down, and the brand new car was laying on the floor with two broken trucks and metal wheels everywhere. So I tried to figure out what was going on. I only found 3 sets of wheels until I got down under there and rescued the 2 locomotives from underneath, and I found that one of the metal wheel sets fell out of the truck of the cleaning car, wedged itself in between, and derailed the cleaning car, which derailed the locomotive. The locomotives didn't hit the floor. I had no cars on the train, but the whole problem was caused by the track cleaning car, the metal wheels in the track cleaning car coming out of the truck. So that's all back. They're all back together. They're all fixed. They're all working. I have run a train around underneath, and we'll just kind of skim over what I've been doing here. If you look back there in the back, you can see that there's a piece of foam road material back there. That's a European product, and I don't know who it was by. But I took it down through the middle of the city and then ran it up to the backdrop over there. In my buildings, I found that little storefront thing there, and I think it goes good there. Of course, it's not level, and I want to put a sidewalk on it and so forth. But I did put a piece of foam core in there, and I did level, well, kind of level that up, not perfectly level. And I have 2 of the trailers of the trailer park over there. And I'm going to figure out how to get as many of those in there as I can, because that's how they do trailer parks. And I'm going to put some foliage around there to hide the backdrop, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the road yet. But I've got to come back and put some plaster cloth in along there, and some plaster in along where I cut the foam. But you see how that's going. I'm getting some idea of how that's going to go. Down at this end, I'm still not sure. I did find a couple more buildings, including the church, which I thought might go good out the end of the street, but I'm not real positive. Don't know if I like it there. Well, we'll find out. I'm struggling. In all honesty, I'm struggling with how to make the transition of the ends of this town. But that's okay. I jump from one thing to another, and when I get frustrated with it, I jump away from it. So I still have not gotten out here and put any plaster on top of this because I want to get the plaster cloth in here before I do so. So that's where that stands. Another thing you may have noticed that I did last night is I took a bunch of little pieces of styrene, and I could have used wood, and I've used wood in the past, but I used styrene, and I wrote all my turnout numbers on them and put them around the layout. So all the turnouts are now numbered. In fact, you can see them, I think, way down there. I do not care whether they are prototypical or not. I only care that when somebody is going around the layout, they will be able to know what turnout they are at. And there are 2 crossovers. Speaking of crossovers, let's go back over here. I have abandoned the idea of the crossover down there to reverse trains. I will do it in another manner. I have another option. But I did take that double crossover and I moved it right here. And yes, I have one over there, which is probably overkill. But what this one here allows me to do is cross over, because my passenger train, if it's running in the direction that it's running right now, and it's right-hand running on this track over here, you can see that it would come around on the outside track, go across the double crossover, into the siding, and you would be at the station. The same thing would apply if it was coming the other way. I would be able to get into the station going the other direction. So it just allows me to bring trains from the back track over to the front track and be able to stop them at the station. That's really all that double crossover. And then I have one real close down at the other end too, so I thought it made sense. So I could get from point A to point B on any 4 of these tracks. And by the way, everybody's talking about these being yard tracks. These are not yard tracks. These are sidings on the main line. The yard tracks are on the other side of those black locomotives down there. So let's not confuse them with yard tracks. You can see that today I went up in the attic, and it just so happened that I had some 1/2-inch risers. So I'm going to put those risers in there and mount the station on there once I get that all taped up and get it all evened up. And that's approximately where the station will be living. But anyway, I just wanted to get that stuff down and see exactly where I could put the station. You can see that the foam is just about at tie level here, and it's below roadbed over here, and that's just the way it's going to be. So that being said, that's what we have as far as where the actual height of the depot will be. Okay, nothing really new over here. I think you guys have seen the coloring over here. What I did do is I just took some extra track and tied the branch line, the not permanent branch line, all the way around over here and into the tracks going down underneath over here, which is basically a reversing loop. I don't know why every time I do one of these reversing loops that actually throws the turnout when it gets back here, why I have so much trouble with that. But after struggling with it for quite some time, again, for the umpteen millionth time, my brain just does not retain that information for some reason. But I got it to work, and let me show you what I did. Okay, my first problem was I was running it around, running it up here, throwing the switch by hand, and the layout was shorting out every time I got up here and it went into the block, and I couldn't figure out what in the hell. I'm wiring it like it shows to wire it, and yet it's tripping the layout breaker every time it gets up. Well, anyways, to get to the crux of that is, all I had to do was make an adjustment, a counterclockwise adjustment to the pot on the AR1. It wasn't switching fast enough, and just made an adjustment to that, and poof, problem cured. Works every time. And I'm going to show you that in a minute, but let me show you how. I'll show you why an idiot has trouble with this. Prop it up on this building here. Because when all the times I've done it before, I haven't written down what I did. And this time I did. I put 12 volts, a little 12 volt transformer into the track side, okay? And I did have to roll this over when I first started. The polarity was not correct, because the negative goes, I believe, in the top one, and the positive goes in the bottom one, I think. But you can mess with that. This one obviously goes off to the switch because it says switch. Okay, so it goes to that switch. Now I have two BD20s. The mistake I've always made when I put a BD20 in is I put both wires of the circuit to the track through the wire loop in there on the BD20. It says specifically to only put one wire through the loop and do it multiple times. So I went back, I split the wire, took it out of the BD20, put one wire through, looped it through 3 times in each one of the BD20s, and then I took the ground side of the BD20, of each BD20. By the way, this requires that you put insulated joiners here, and I have insulated joiners back inside that tunnel, and I have insulating joiners, you can just barely see them right there. And all that does is create an isolated section here and here, and that isolated section has the BD20s going to it, feeder wires through the BD20s. I was always thinking, how does the BD20 power, how do you get power to the BD20 to get it to tell the switch cat to do something? You don't. You just loop the wire through it, and that induction makes it transmit a signal. So basically what you do is you take the ground side, you can see ground up there kind of with my crappy writing, and you take the 2 grounds and you put them in the one that's marked ground. If you look at that, it's marked ground right there. You put it into the ground of the switch cat. Then you take one of the BD20s and you put it into side 1. You can't really see it. There's a 1 there. And then you take the other red wire, or whatever other color your wire, from the logic sides, and you put that in too. So one logic goes into 1, one logic goes into 2, the 2 grounds go together into ground, okay? Once you accomplish that, you're done. When that locomotive gets to that section over there and creates resistance on that track, that BD20 sends out a little pulse, and that pulse goes into the switch cat and throws the switch one way or the other with the help of 12 volts here. Now, if it throws the switch the wrong way, it's very simple. You just undo them here, flop them over, put them back in the switch, and off you go. And man, it took me forever to figure that out, and I'm hoping this saves you guys a bunch of trouble, but I'm going to keep this paper close to my heart in case I got to do this again. So let's check it out and see how it works. Okay, we're going to take locomotives 82 here, A and B, and we're going to run them down below, and you'll be hearing them go through, and I'm going to let them just run through the whole loop. I have sent the cleaning car down there multiple times. I have run the locomotives through multiple times, and it just plain works. And you can see, maybe you can't, that the switch is thrown to the left-hand track, but we'll see if this all operates as it should. And it is now coming back on the right-hand track, and I'm going to slow it down to about 26 on my throttle, and you will be able to see the switch throw. There you saw the switch throw. You saw that it did not hesitate, the light did not flash, and we are going the opposite direction. Woohoo! I'm a happy guy. Okay, one other thing I did that has made my life a little bit easier out here is I had my UR93, I hooked that up out here, got that going, and now I can use my one wireless throttle to walk around out here when I'm just out here testing in point A, point B, point C. And as you can see here, when I put the double crossover in, I had to add another DS64 here, and it has double crossover number 15 attached to it. So I believe that's where we are. Let me see if I can think of anything else I need to show you. Oh yeah, I do have one more thing I need to show you. I have been digging in my building box, and I'm ruining things in my building box. So what I'm going to do is I went up in the crawl space. I had this folding table. I'm going to put this table here, and I'm going to take buildings out of there, and I'm just going to look through them and put them up there as I can, just to keep from busting them up, having them all fall over sideways, and all the crap that's happening down there. But anyway, I'll set them on the table. I'll still be able to scoot the tubs under the table, but yet keep the buildings away from each other and protected on top of the table. So that is what I'm going to attempt to do after we finish up this video here. Now, another thing I have not done that I need to do, and you can see under here, there is my two BD20s, and there is my switch cat. And it's so simple. And of course this wire here is a 12 volt power. In fact, it's a PS14 Digitrax with the cable cut off and just two wires attached to it going over to my switch cat. But I can get real close to my switch cat, and you can kind of see how that's wired there. Anyway, that being said, I got to tie all that up. That's not a big deal. I've got to get some of this wiring under here tied up again and get the top of the board cleaned off again. One thing I was digging for when I was digging in the box here was this little guy. Seems kind of insignificant, but this, I believe, I am going to use as the mine entrance over at the unobtainium mine, and I am going to take the boards off the front of it and clean it up a little bit, and this will be the mine entrance over at the mine. And I'm going to take you over there and show you one other thing I need to do over there. Now, if you don't mind the pun, mind you, this is not where it's actually, I mean, it's going to go in that vicinity, but it's going to be chopped down to ground level. But it will be the mine entrance. And then somewhere up here on top, I'm going to build some kind of vent. Every mine had several vents vent shafts dug down through, and this one will be no exception. Now, the other thing I have to do is I've got to raise all of this up to track level here and then put the mine building back in there. So I think that may be where I start doing scenery, along with, which you've already seen probably, the fire tower, which is tilting precariously up there. But I'm going to level that off, get it mounted, put a little dirt parking lot up there, and build the road. Now, I had told you I was going to go up the other side with the road, and I'm not sure that's the way it's going to be. It may still be, but I have a plan here at the mine. I am going to put a highway bridge across from here to here, and I'm going to cut this down right in here, and there will be a parking lot right here, and this is how the miners get to work. Okay, of course the bridge over here will go to nowhere, and everybody complains about bridges that don't go to nowhere, but you got to stop it somewhere on the edge of the layout. The railroad doesn't go off the layout either. But anyway, bridge more or less like this right across here, with a pier in the middle to hold the highway bridge up. And I'm going to make that highway bridge out of a couple of Atlas bridges, I believe. I don't know where they are. I thought I brought them out here. But anyway, I believe that the highway bridge will be built out of a couple of Atlas bridges. And we'll see how that works out. But that'll be a way for everybody to get to the mine. Then if I was able to from the mine, I was going to try and go down somewhere and up the hill over there, and then up, you know, because of the parking lot here, a way for the people to get up to the tower over there. But I may still do that from the other side, but you can see that it is sitting on its precarious perch right now. That's going to change soon. Aside from that, I don't believe I have any more true plans right now. I do need to get the top of the layout cleaned off once again because it's driving me nuts. Oh, and you can see over here my 13 and 14 sticks. My 13 had to be put up on top of the hill because there's no place you can see it down below. And this, by the way, is where the lower loop goes around for the reversing of the branch line. So I have got to get the lightning and thunder unit back behind that rock face back there. And to do that, I've got to redo, or not redo, but do some more storm clouds up there. And that's going to require getting my airbrush out and airbrushing those on, which is no big deal. I just got to do it. But anyway, I want to get those airbrushed on. I want to get the rain coming down airbrushed on. I want to get a lightning bolt put in there. And then I want to get the light put in there. And I've got the unit down here on the floor somewhere, and the thunder unit, and get that little tidbit going. So anyway, I got all kinds of things rolling around in my head, as you see. And that's it. And I just want you guys to all, guys and girls, to all have a happy Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, I do have one little tidbit that passed into my brain that I need to share with you guys. We saw on Facebook, I believe Robin saw yesterday or day before yesterday, and some of you may know him, some of you may not, and it doesn't matter if you do or don't. But a gentleman by the name of Rick Brodzinski has passed away. It's unfortunate that that happened before Thanksgiving. It's unfortunate that it happened at all. But he and I wouldn't say we were close friends, but when I went out to the convention in Sacramento and took a train to run on their layout out there, Rick was always a nice guy to me when I was out there. Rick was always a nice guy when I was on the forums, and I would just appreciate it if you would just say a prayer for Rick and his family. And by all means, the rest of you have a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope everything goes well for everyone. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all for sticking around for this one and sticking around with me. And I would also like to plead for you guys to click on some of the advertising on the beginning of my videos and stuff. And please like, I mean, I'm sounding like everybody else out there now, but please like and share this video because it seems like my stats are falling behind, and I don't know if it's everybody's not liking the content, they're not liking the layout, they're not liking me, they're not liking something. It really doesn't matter to me, other than the fact that, I don't know, it doesn't motivate me to do more content and more videos. But if you guys could pass this on and we can start getting some more people involved in this channel, with your help, of course, it would just motivate me more. I'm motivated to do my own layout, but I'm not motivated to take video as I go along if the channel's just kind of falling off a little bit. And maybe that's my fault. I don't know. What I will tell you is, I know an early Christmas present. You guys are probably the same way. Robin and I can never think of anything we need. I've given her a couple ideas, and I have some things coming that I won't go into. But one of the things I did ask her for is another King Joy tripod, like the one that the camera is sitting on right now, and one of the really cheap 4K video cameras. I haven't seen any really good reviews on them, but everybody I've seen doing a review on them uses them outside. The camera that I'm getting will be used for the majority of the time inside. I don't know if it's going to take any better video than this Sony Handycam. Cheap Sony Handycam, by the way. But it will have an external speaker and some other things, so when we go out looking at trains, you know, I can put a muffler over that, and I can weed out that wind noise and stuff, if the camera's worth a damn. We'll find out when it gets here. I'm not expecting a whole lot for 150 bucks, but we'll see how it goes. But that's a Christmas present. You won't see it till then. And like I say, I don't want to spoil anything else. But I wanted to get two cameras, even if I use my other Sony. I wanted to get two tripods and two cameras out here so I can take a couple of different angles while I'm doing something. I can show it after I've done it, and I can show it while I'm doing it, or I can show it from a couple different angles while I'm doing it, such as down on it and me doing it. I don't know how that's going to work out. I can edit videos, but I'm not very good well, I haven't ever had the opportunity to piece them together where I've got two streams of video. So we'll give that a shot when that gets here, or after Christmas sometime. But anyway, I'm rambling on once again. I don't blame you guys for leaving early if that's what you do. But I certainly appreciate y'all being here. And as usual, thanks for watching.